and now she sounds and feels so good. Let's keep it in. Oh yeah. Hello hobbyists, welcome back to Motion RC. I'm James. We've got the Nexa P-40 Warhawk in the Flying Tiger scheme on the runway, and it is part 3 of our video series. We are gonna start off with the flight. We got a 6,000 milliamp 6S Admiral pack inside. She's ready to go. Alex on camera, and then when we land, I'll check the battery, and then I'm also gonna put this bad boy on a watt meter because I wanna show you guys, you know, the readings we're getting off the Admiral motor. You know, when you set up a Balsa ARF, a watt meter is a perfect tool, so we're gonna do that in this video as well, as promised. But let's get started with the flight. Alex is ready?
I'm ready.
He's ready. So I am ready, and let's get going. So I've got her on the runway. It's a beautiful morning. And here we go. Right to left, taking off. Gonna bring her up slow. Nothing on the elevator. Get that power in. There she goes, sitting up. And beautiful. Gears coming up. And there she's up. So now if you guys watch our live show, you might have seen my maiden, and she was very pitch sensitive on my maiden. I was, you know, I had set the servo for the elevator a little too far off within the model itself, and then had the control rod on the outer arm. So I went back in and completely changed that. I moved the servo over more. I put it on the inside arm. I wanted more resolution on it. And I also then I decided to add a Hobby Eagle gyro. So I figured, why not? Gyros, I have them in my Flightline Warbirds. I love them. So let's toss one in here. And now she sounds and feels so good. Let's keep it in. Oh yeah. Gonna take her up. Beautiful. I'm gonna do one more fast pass in front of you, Alex. And I'm gonna be quiet just so people could hear that 3-bladed 15x7 I got on it. Taking her up. Stall turn. Gonna come in for a, let's roll it. So at the end of this, I could show you my rates, guys. I didn't set up any sort of book rates or anything. I just sort of went with my gut. So I also got a controlled deflection meter we can put on her, so I can show you guys. It's amazing how little high rate elevator I have on this. I also had the elevator on my maiden just way too high. Even what I put on my low was just not what I would recommend anybody flying with. You don't need much for this bird. Give a little rudder in the turn. Now let's check her inverted. I'm gonna go up. Let's flip her. Push very slightly. Gonna push up and around. Oh yeah. Ah, it sounds so good and it feels so good. Perfect warbird morning. Show that wing. I like the scheme on her. Once we finish this video though, I like to fly them, you know, for all these videos. They're gonna live on the product page. Want guys to see, obviously, what they look like stock, but I have full intentions to weather this model. Give it a little more life. Paint up that exhaust, make it look dirty. So now again, I have a 6,000 6S LiPo inside, and pushed all the way forward. And with the Admiral GP10 motor that I have and the ESC, I added no weight, which is great. So all up, guys, for Balsa, she's about 9.5 pounds. And we'll check the watt meter readings later. I'm kind of forgetting. I'd posted on Hobby Squawk pictures of it on my initial test, and I believe it was something like 2,000 watts or something. Might be, but I'm not. We'll check it after. But it was more than enough wattage where I was getting easily 100 watts per pound. So I had no fear that the motor combination, prop combination, and weight would you know, not fly the bird. It is the recommended setup on the product page. How's she looking, Alex?
Pretty.
I'm gonna come across, I'm gonna drop the gear for the camera. There she is. And now, I had my timer to about 5 minutes, 30 seconds of useful throttle time. So now I'm gonna bring her down. I'm gonna take a landing if we got it, Alex. Because she could fly, you know, I have about 10, 12 flights, and it seems like 6 minutes is easy. You could probably get more. I haven't pushed it yet. But all depends on the type of flying you're doing. So now I'm about 25% on the throttle. And there we go. Land her in. Keep her on the runway. Nice. Flaps coming up. And let's see if I turn her. I don't want to nose her on the grass. There we go. Taxiing her back. So there you go, guys. I still have 16 seconds on a 5 minute and 30 second timer of useful throttle time. Again, my timer only goes when I'm over 25%. But I'm gonna taxi her right back to me, and then we will put a cell checker on her, and then we'll head over to the table a bit and go around her a little bit. But look at that prop. I painted the tips. That's a master air screw 15x7 3-bladed prop. And I painted the tips yellow. Throttle cut. Throttle cut is on, so let's check the battery. There we go. So again, the big 6,000 inside. She is barely warm, man. Barely warm. And I'm getting 3.89 across the board. So again, that was a 5 minute 30 useful throttle time flight, or 5 minute 15, probably 6 minutes in the camera. You'll see the timer on the bottom of the screen, and I easily had another minute or two if I wanted it. So I would say comfortably 7 to 8 minutes on this setup, no doubt. With a 6,000, you know, I wanted the heaviest pack I got. And this is about it. The 5100 carbon would also be a good option. But guys, that'll do it for us right here. I'm gonna get her on the table, and then we're gonna walk around her and show you what she's got with the Nexa P-40. Let's do it. All right, guys, so we've got the whole field to ourselves, which is awesome, but we're at the table, and now most of this, since this is part 3 of the video, you've seen on the unboxing video and the assembly video, all that went into it. The setup, again, Admiral GP10 motor. If this is the first video you're seeing, we got a 15x7 3-blade prop on it, and she is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, she's about 61.5-inch wingspan. I mean, a perfect size for a warbird, and I love it. I can't wait to dress her up. But the point of this, I really want to get into with Balsa ARF kits. A lot of it is, what's the CG? What are the rate settings? And also, watt meter readings are so important when it comes to a Balsa ARF. A lot of guys want to make sure that the motor combination and the prop combination is going to work for this model. And I went with the recommended specs across the board. The only thing I had to get was a 3-bladed prop. We don't yet have them. So I got a master air screw, great company, 15x7, worked well. The spec was I believe a 15x8 2-blade, so I just down pitched it and went with 3 blades. And it worked perfectly on my watt meter, but we'll show that in a bit. First things first, I'm gonna get her plugged in. Let's show you the rates that I was using for that flight you just saw. So I'm gonna turn on my transmitter. I got my throttle cut on, and you can also see how freshly charged 6,000 fits beautifully into the model. So let me just do this. So I want to strap it in, make sure. See, she fits right in. And I got Velcro on the bottom, securing it, and then I got my strap, which keeps it nice and snug. So double. All right, so let's get her plugged in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can hear it. And again, I have a gyro on this, so that's where I'm getting. That's where I'm hearing a lot of my my buzzing. When the gyro's on, I'll lower the gyro. But here she is. So we are ready to go. Now, when I like to CG, I tend to put the, I don't think it makes a difference, gear up or gear down too much. These do rake forward, so maybe it's easier to balance it. So I'll do the balance with the CG, and I believe the book told me it was about 55 to 60 millimeters off the leading edge, which puts me, funny, right at this little crease in the covering here, the middle of this square of the panel lines, if you will. So I'm going to put my fingers right there and right there, and as you'll see, she balances beautifully. So got it for the camera, but that is, I mean, it's perfect. And that's why I was so excited that I didn't have to go back in and add any sort of lead nose weight or anything. So I was really pumped that, you know, our Admiral 6000 was more than enough up front. I remember we had Patrick Crosdale has the Nexa Hurricane, and he was out here a couple of weeks ago, and he did have to add nose weight, but also he went with a Flightline foam setup, you know, the same electronic system. And I remember those motors are a lot, don't weigh as much as the Admiral GP10s, which are made for, you know, probably made for a bigger, you know, stronger plane. So that was nice to see there. Now, as far as my throws, so that entire flight, I've just kept one set of throws. I haven't even bothered to go to low or high. I just, when I liked it, and there was no reason to change it. So I got my control surface deflection meter, and let's pop that on the aileron first to show you guys. I'm gonna walk around just to make sure it's level. Go. So you see we're doing it in millimeters, but when I throw, I'm about 22 millimeter of throw in both directions on my aileron. I did have a low rate set, and that would be about, no, I'm sorry, that was my low rate, so 22. So I'm about 26, 27 millimeters for a high. So that's high and that's low. So that should help you guys out there. And again, I liked the roll rate I got, barrel rolls, everything. She didn't feel snappy in any way. Now the elevator is where, again, I would put my control rod as you know, close to the servo as possible. Get that resolution. Now you're gonna see that is the high rate elevator is gonna be a 15, and my low rate is about 14. There was barely any rate. And I've actually, inside the servo, based on when I did it, I moved the end points of my trim to, I'm at 125% to do the high rate. I'm just at a straight 100 the way I set it up. So really, I was nervous when I came back out to do it, because I'm like, what if it's not enough elevator? But it was more than enough elevator. You don't need a lot there. And then as far as rudder, I am just full 100, and I just move the rates down to about 90%. I like having access to as much rudder as I need. You know, I'm always very light on the rudder when I fly anyway. And again, now I added a gyro to her, and the one thing I like, you have enough canopy space, if you can see in here, Alex, if you could see my blue gyro back there.
I see it.
So, you know, my Futaba receiver up against the side, one aerial going down, one aerial going back, and then gyro fit perfectly right next to it. Basically, you know, right on the CG actually, because the CG point is right here. So, you know, couldn't get much better than that, and it really dials it in. So that's the rates I was using to fly. Again, if you wanted a high rate or a low rate, I just didn't feel the need to switch into it. And my elevator rates are so close that, I'm just glad she flies like that. So if anything, those rates are a good starting point for you guys, and then, you know, you work from there. That's something you're gonna know. I fly with about 25% expo on everything, so you know, that's where I'm at on that. So now what I want to do is I'm gonna walk the plane out to the grass over here. Let's plug in the watt meter and we'll wrap up this video. All right, guys, so I've done a quick tip video. If you guys are following Motion RC, you know, every Tuesday now we're doing quick tips. I recently did one on a watt meter, and I use it. I got it when I got this plane. It's a big help when you want to know if you're all up weight and the motor combination, prop combination, when you want to make changes, are going to work for your aircraft. So again, I have an Admiral GP10 that's rated for 60 amps. I got a 65 amp ESC inside, and I'm going to now plug in the watt meter, and then we're going to run it up static. Now, one thing about a watt meter is the readings are always going to be highest when you're static on the ground. So if they read fine or really close to the edge of what you're looking for, in the air you should be all right. It's only going to be lower. But the way you plug this in, again, your load is going to be your motor and your ESC, obviously, whatever's putting a load on the electrical circuit, and then your source is going to be the battery. So I want to make sure I plug this in. I got my throttle cut on, and I'm going to try to face this to the camera so Alex can see it as we do it live. Hard to manipulate here, but is that going to work for you, Alex? Are you seeing any readings?
Should be good.
Should be good.
Lower.
So I'm going to put my feet on my rudder. Now again, what you're seeing on the watt meter is just the basic electrical current. No, you're going to see your total voltage on the battery, which is about, you know, fully charged LiPo we have. It's 24.8. Right now it's, you know, 0.1 amps because it's just doing nothing. But as I increase the throttle, you're going to see those numbers change. And then when I lower the throttle, it's going to save the bottom left-hand corner. There's rotating numbers. It's going to save the max output through the system. So what I suggest when I do this, I don't just go goose my throttle right away. I'm going to bring it up. It's going to take about 5 seconds to go from 0 to full, hold it there for 5 seconds, and then bring it back down. So let's do that now. Throttle cut off, throttling up. Down, throttle cut is on, check that, and let's see what our numbers are. So I just got to look at it myself. So right now, with that, I am pulling 54 max amps and 1200 watts. So 1200, that makes more sense for what I was getting. So what does that mean? The max amp static on the ground was 54 amps. So I am well below the 60 amp rated motor I have inside and the 65 amp ESC that's attached to the motor. So when I'm in the air, I'm probably only drawing in the 40s, mid 40s, maybe close to 50 amps. Obviously, it'd be hard to, you could leave this on in your plane, but as you're taxiing and as you're taking off, that's only going to show you your max reading. So unless you can really get a, you know, a camera looking at it while you're in the air inside the plane, you'd probably never be able to truly know. But, you know, again, static's always going to be higher. And then the wattage, 1200 watts on this system, a 15x7 3-bladed prop with that motor. That's, I want for a warbird about 100 watts per pound is perfect. So being that she's 9.5 pounds, she's got more than enough power to pull this plane through the air. I could probably prop down if I wanted to. The recommended 2-blade, I think, or like I said, the recommended book is a 14x8. So I actually propped it up. I wanted the bigger look on the motor. I just pitched it down. But you could play with your props. You could play with all that stuff. That's the beauty of having a watt meter, is you never have to guess anymore, and you don't have to run to you know, the groups or the forums to ask people. You could know for sure yourself. if your system's gonna work. So guys, I hope that gives you guys enough information out there on this Nexa P-40 and also on all of the Nexa single engine warbirds. A lot of them are gonna look very similar to this. They're gonna set up easy. So I hope you enjoyed all 3 parts of this video, and guys, stay tuned. The year has just begun. We got so much coming on Motion RC. Thanks so much, guys, and I'm gonna go fly this again because I got a fully charged pack inside. So let's do it.